And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome into the Bears Coaches Show with head coach Matt Eberflus. I'm Jeff Joniak with you until 8 o'clock tonight here on News Radio 105.9 WBBM. Happy to be with you talking Bears once again. They're headed to New England on Monday night. Good evening. How you feeling?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. Good weekend?
Yeah, it was good. It was good. We got a chance to look at a lot of cut-ups and a lot of, looking at a lot of things. We're going to, going forward, improving our players. And that's the biggest thing we want to get done here, fundamentally, how we can improve our players.
Yeah, you laid it out after the game in the following day's news conference, and it sounded very ambitious, like a lot of work, coming up with 3 positives, 3 things that players still need to work on, the coach-player relationship, looking at scheme. And so, everybody's thinking, oh, my gosh, well, what are they going to do? Because scheme is the scheme. You can't reinvent a scheme. So kind of explain how detailed that is and What did you learn?
No, it's for the fundamentals of the players. You're just going back and looking at the cut-ups and saying, okay, what can this player fundamentally do better? And that's what we're really looking at. And how as a coach can I help him do that? Through drill work, through teamwork, through watching the tape. And really that's the process of that partnership. And then really understanding what he's doing well, and keep doing that, and make sure that he's understanding that, hey, you're doing a lot of things well, but here's what you need to improve on fundamentally. And it's going forward. So how can we do that together? That's that part of it. And then the next part of it is, when you're talking about scheme and looking at your scheme and how you're doing it, is really how can we do what we're doing well and keep doing that? But what can we do and adjust? Just a little fine tweaks. What can we adjust to help our players, succeed better on the football field? That's what you do as a coach. And that's what we do. Every coach in the league does that. You do it in a mini bye, you do it in a bye week. That's what we're here to do, is we're here to help and advance our team.
Players got to be receptive, too, because I've always stated, I don't care what era, they just want to be put in a position to succeed. Go tell me what to do. Am I doing it right? Hopefully I can do it right. These guys, they're not going to be going rogue on you and just do whatever. They want that, right?
No doubt.
And if they don't feel they're getting it, then that's an issue, right?
No, we have a great mindset for our football team. We always have our eyes forward. Win, lose, or draw, we're always going to have our eyes forward to the next opponent and how we're going to get better. We're into growing and developing and getting better every single week. And, of course, we're excited about the New England game coming up and all that, but we have to some things we have to do first. Coming up on Tuesday, the guys are coming in tomorrow. And they're going to be in here. We're going to spend about an hour and 20 minutes or so going through self-scout, how I can improve, and go through that whole process, and then have a walkthrough after that and really try to hone in on those things.
So what have you learned that you think you do well, that you're happy with? Some of it's obvious. You run the ball very well. Right.
Yeah, I would say that our run game is nice. We got 2 good runners. Our offensive line is doing a great job. The receivers are doing an awesome job of blocking down the field. Tight ends are doing a great job at the point on the edge. There's a lot of good things. Our runners have really adapted to the style, of really pressing the line of scrimmage and making those cuts when they need to, which is something we worked on early on in the season, and they've really adapted to that. So certainly that's what we're doing really well on the offensive side of the ball.
How about defensive side?
Yeah, defensive side. Obviously, we're playing really good pass defense. We are starting to play a little bit better in the run game, and we got to continue to do that because that's where it starts for us. It always starts running the ball and stopping the run. So we're improving on that. The tackling has gotten better, over the course of the year. You think about in game 2, didn't tackle that great. We're starting to get our cup, the force pursuit apex. We're starting to do that better, and we're just making strides.
Special teams. I think there's a lot of good on special
No
teams.
doubt. Our cover teams have been good. We've done a nice job of punting and pinning at times. Obviously, our return game needs to improve just a little bit. Obviously, the ball security there is going to be something that we address. But certainly we are happy with our specialists, for sure, and the cover teams for sure.
And is there one nagging thing that you feel it's got to improve? I know coaches will say a lot of different things, but is there anything that you're really pinpointing that we got, I guess it would be finishing and scoring points. But,
I would say that, continue to do a good job in situations, so we've been inconsistent to this point, on our third down defense, on our third down offense. We got to make sure we're doing a great job with that, converting on fourth downs, on both sides. So I would say situationally we're going to have to improve there, and also in the gold zone and the red zone. We got to make sure that we take advantage of our opportunities. And then on defense, do a great job of stopping them, make them kicking field goals.
Just so I'm aware, and our fans, Gold zone and red zone are the same?
They're the
or
same.
Are we talking gold is the low red zone? Or no, are they the
They're
same?
the same. One is a offensive term, which is the gold zone, and then the red zone is a defensive term. Those are what our coordinators use. So,
Did you think this is a great time to kind of reset a little bit, even for these guys? Because you have thrown a lot at them from the time they got here with a new system and new people.
no, I think it is good. It's good mentally to get away for a couple of days for the players and to reset their mind and have their eyes forward for improvement.
And you're basically going to have, a walkthrough aside, it'll be 6 days off their feet a little bit since that game, right? With practice, not until Thursday.
Yep, absolutely. And that's why I really like the schedule, because we had that bonus day, because we're not playing on Sunday, we're playing on Monday. So I was able to give the players another day to get off their feet and rest their bodies for this 7-game stretch we got coming up.
And knock on wood, when you look at that injury report, there wasn't a lot heading into the game. I don't know how you came out of it, but for this point in the season, 6 weeks of games, you got to feel pretty fortunate. Yes, there are some guys on IR, but they'll be coming back.
Right.
Some of these guys will be coming back
they will be.
soon.
And, I think our schedule and the way we set up practice, I think, has been good in the health of our players, because I think they do a great job at pre-practice and post-practice taking care of their bodies.
And how, your practices are not super long, but do you ever feel, do you as a coach, do you ever feel, God, did I get enough done? Because some coaches, they'll go a lot longer, but I know it's a different time and place and everything in the league, but are you ever left saying, gosh, maybe we could have got more done or something?
Yeah,
like that?
we do a lot of things pre-practice. We do a long walkthroughs pre-practice to set up the practice, and then when we go in practice, we're going fast. We believe in our principle, and that we want to do that every single rep, and the guys go hard every single play.
The players understand also no mistake goes unnoticed in terms of, like, we're going to correct it. So that mindset has got to be critical moving forward as well. This little evaluation, you got to have some thick skin here, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Again, if it's done in the right way, we just got to make sure that we understand it. It's got to be, it's got to be addressed. Everything's got to be on the table. We must improve, and we must improve individually and as units as well.
All right, we're coming up on our second segment with Bears head coach Matt Eberflus. We'll be talking Patriots later in the show. They're coming off a big win on the road at Cleveland.
Back to throw, Fields going to toss it down the left side. Going for Pettis, over the shoulder, makes the grab in the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown Bears! 40 yards to Pettis.
Welcome back to the Bears Coaches Show with head coach Matt Eberflus. Coming out of a nice weekend break, Bears get back to work and in the meeting rooms coming up this week before the Patriots and the trip out to Foxborough. Monday night's the matchup. We just heard the Dante Pettis touchdown catch. Beautiful catch and a heck of a throw. He delivered a beauty, but tracking the ball was key in that little postage stamp area of the end zone.
Yeah, it starts with communication first, recognizing what is going on the field when they substitute. And then we, have worked on this all the way through, training camp into the season. And the guys did a great job of executing. Of seeing that scenario and seeing that opportunity, getting the ball snapped and running the routes correctly, and obviously throwing a great pass. And what a great track by Dante Pettis to track that ball over his outside shoulder and catch that pass.
I believe the Bears were the 8th youngest team in the league when the league started. Do you think that they have surprised you, or are you feeling this is what you expect from a team that has a lot of rookies on it?
Yeah, I would say that it's, we are where we are right now,
Yeah.
So, and we're just trying to get better. We're trying to improve every single day. When you have rookies playing for you or second-year players playing for you, you just want to improve. You want to make sure that every single day they have a goal, and their eyes are on that particular fundamental or skill they're trying to improve, and they work diligently to get that done.
Consistent messaging, I would say, is something that is definitely a trademark of Matt Eberflus. Do you feel that is something that over time, being in this sport from the time you were in youth football, that you realize that really is got to be the number one thing, to always let these guys know exactly what we're doing, when we're doing it, how we're doing it, and how I feel about it?
Yeah, I think that is important. I think when you base everything on the basics of the game, the blocking, the tackling, the effort, the ball, the things that we stand for, I think then what happens is when you keep doing the things right over and over and over again, more consistently, good things are going to happen, and the product on the field is going to look the right way. And I think over time that will be success.
How about yourself, self-scouting yourself
Yeah.
through this process? I believe, I think I recall, you're a big note taker, so What are the notes on Matt Eberflus?
Yeah, I would just say that, there's with the game management side of it, there's every single game there's something that comes up that we can improve on. I think we've done a good job of that so far, and I think we'll continue to do that. We really do a diligent job of studying every situation in the league that happens every single week and looking at those cut-ups, and we got to continue to grow there and get better with our communication. I think it's been good, but it always can improve. The in-game communication with the coordinators has been good and solid, and we know when we're going for it on fourth down, what situations are, what we're calling them. So that's been really good, outstanding. So overall, I'm just trying to grow and improve as we go, and then really just trying to give more input, when we can during the course of the game to adjust and maximize our units. And I think I've been done a pretty good job with that as well.
Bye week not till week 14, so that's a long way away yet. For this team, the latest possible bye. What's the biggest challenge to keep them mentally fresh?
Yeah, I would just say that we're obviously this right here, having that bonus day for this mini bye is a big benefit. And then going forward, we really, after this week, we got the short week in Dallas because it's a Monday. But after the Dallas game, it's pretty much pretty steady after that. And then what you do is you just adjust the schedule. When you have to adjust the schedule when the time changes. I think it's November 6th or 7th, somewhere in there. So you want to adjust it a little bit there. And like I said, we already have short, fast practices for the most part, but we'll keep those pretty much the same, but we'll adjust a couple things as we go.
In terms of guys coming back, N'Keal Harry, obviously, he could get out on the field here in the near future. Byron Pringle will be coming back soon. Cody Whitehair around the corner. Alex Leatherwood. Are you looking for the possibility of these guys, in whatever their schedules are, adding to the mix here, because those are some good football players?
Yeah, that's just like you said. When you can add talent back to the roster and experience back to the roster, it's always going to be helpful. Cody obviously is solid, super solid inside, and solidifies that offensive line. So we're looking forward to getting him back. Harry's going to do a great job when he comes back. He's been studying his tail off and getting ready to go there. So hopefully, and Pringle, those guys will all come back when they're ready. But man, it's always good to get those guys, because they will make a difference in our football team.
Eddie Jackson has been a big part of this first 6 games in terms of a story, I think. 3 interceptions, the forced fumble, 43 tackles, and pairing with a rookie of significance here in Jaquan Brisker. That's been a nice combo from a lot of perspectives. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, we do. We feel the same way. Obviously, Eddie's done a remarkable job of buying in. He has not missed a beat, since OTAs all the way through training camp. And he was out there every day, and he was out there busting his tail, and it's showing. He's in the best shape of his life. He looks outstanding out there. He's not perfect, but he's made a lot of impactful plays. He's come down and pressured. He's covered guys. He's played a deep part of the field, and he's really doing everything that we've seen him do in the past.
Snap is back. Fields with a shoulder shrug. Now going to leave the pocket. Room to run if he wanted to. Slows down to the 45. Cuts upfield. Hits the gas. 30, 20, 15, 10, and out of bounds. Inside the 10-yard line. Justin Fields on a Fields trip to the 5 with 52 seconds to go.
When it's time to tackle some top-ranked values, just head on over to your local Jewel Osco for a league-leading lineup that's perfect for every second of the game day action. Welcome back to the Bears Coaches Show with Bears head coach Matt Eberflus. Jeff Joniak with you as well. Just heard Justin Fields' dramatic run to set up a great scenario. Without it, you're not even talking about having a chance. So that was more often than not in that game. You put yourself in position to keep drives alive.
Yeah, that play was just amazing watching it from the sideline, and the way he took off, and I thought he was going to run out of bounds, and he cut back, and then there he went all the way down. So it was an amazing play by him. What an athlete! What great instincts that he has in the open part of the field, and it did put us in position to score. On the final plays of the game. So
was there a part of you thought he was going in?
I did. I did. There's not a lot of people that can catch him, in the open field. So he is certainly a talent.
How about when Herbert makes that one cut, breaks free, and the guy that's running faster than anybody is number one?
Yeah, you can see that.
It just shot into the view.
Yeah, you can certainly see his acceleration there and his desire. That's what I was referring to after the game. The toughness, the mental and physical toughness of this guy is second to none, and he did an excellent job on that play too.
I think people get worried, though, about the toughness part. Yeah, because he did it all the way back to college. But just with rushes and sacks this year, and then I'm not even counting, like, just quarterback hits after he gets rid of the ball or something, but it's like almost 13 hits a game when you add it. Is there a point where, I mean, no quarterback's tough enough to handle that kind of barrage because you just get worried about the one, you know?
Yeah,
I mean, you can't play worried. I get it, but
this is obviously a point of, you know, that we have to take care of. You know, obviously we do not want that. You know, and it's a combination of things, right? It's, you know, how can we protect better? How can, you know, he throw the ball away better? You know, and, you know, it's all encompassing. So we have to get that number down, and that's you know, something we're going to stress here in this mini bye.
Offensive line, there's so much youth on it. They're going to have inconsistency just by nature, I would think. But how do you feel in general that the unit has played? I know there's a lot of people poking holes in it a little bit, certainly the pass protection part of it. But when you're going to start a fifth-round pick and a second-year player, fifth-round pick at tackle, and you got a young right guard, I mean, there's going to be some lumps you're going to have to take sometimes to get that thing going in the right direction. How do you feel overall?
Yeah, overall, like you said, the run game's been great. You know, they've done a good job of climbing to the second level, staying on their blocks, second effort all the way through. You know, and the runners have done a great job too. You know, and again, it's you know, pass protection is everybody. You know, it's everybody involved. If it's the obviously the offense line's number one, but then you have the runners that are chipping their way out, and they're also in protection. So it's all of us, you know, and it's the quarterback, you know, delivering the ball and getting rid of it and throwing it away when he does feel the pressure. And Justin's done a good job of that for the most part. You just got to keep, you know, having his pocket presence there, along with the protection. The offensive line is going to improve.
But overall, in your analysis also of each player, but he's number one. He's QB1. How do you feel it's all gone so far?
You know, it's right where we are. You know, so you know where we are is where we are. So we got to make sure that, like I said, this mini bye week, we're just looking to improve. You know, how can we adjust some things within the scheme to help us produce better on the field? And that's first down, second down, third down, red zone, you know, play action pass, drop back pass, screens, all encompassing. So we're looking at all those things right now, and we're looking to get that done.
Somebody asked me last night on our show on Fox how much I love having a two-horse running game, and I said, yeah, I feel it's, you know, there's only certain backs like Jonathan Taylor when you with him at the Colts. That guy he's gonna be the ball carrier, but having a two-pronged attack, do you enjoy that from a head coaching perspective, that you got a couple of options, sometimes maybe just go with a hot hand, but they're different. They are different, but they also accomplish the same thing with their contact balance and after the yard.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great to have a 1-2 punch because they're different styles. You know, one is more of a aggressive cutter. You know, Montgomery, he really takes it downhill and is aggressive. You know, where Herbert more is you know, he's more of a get downhill and then, you know, be able to capture the edge or cut back in a different way with his pads down. So, and then in the passing game, you know, they're both viable options in the passing game. I think we need to utilize those guys a little bit more in the passing game, and but both of them are certainly good at that too.
Heck, Herbert's on a pace to get 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns if he stayed on that pace as this change your pace option for David Montgomery.
From center, the toss left to Khalil Herbert. Blockers are out in front. Breaks a tackle. Angles middle at the 40. Got away to the 45. Tripped up at the 50. Stays on his feet. Right at the 40. 30 of Washington. Right sideline. Cuts inside of the 10 and he's brought down. Khalil Herbert with the vision to find the space. Turn that crack into a canyon for a big gain.
Great seats available to see your Chicago Bears this season at Soldier Field. Get your tickets at chicagobears.com/tickets. Welcome back to the Bears Coaches Show with Bears head coach Matt Eberflus. The aforementioned 62-yard run by Khalil Herbert, a beauty, and it was hat on a hat there too.
I mean, at the point of attack, we did have a hat on a hat there, and guys, the second effort, you know, to stay on the blocks. But also when you get those big runs, you have to do, your technique's got to be good. Because if you grab and, you know, because a lot of times they'll twist out of it, defenders will try to twist out of it. You got to make sure that you're doing a great job of not, you know, knowing when to push and not pull in those moments, because, you know, you don't want a big run and get a flag. So those guys have been doing a great job with that at the point of attack.
In terms of penalties, now you are a big proponent of, let's keep that laundry in the pocket of the official. How do you think that's been so far?
It's been good.
Yeah,
it's been good. It's been down. It's not been as good as we want it, but it's been good. We haven't really hurt ourselves that way too much. We always got to get better, but the guys are mindful of it. We go through a situations tape every single week, and a lot of times we talk about penalties or, making sure we're doing the right things at the right time. And we go through all situations later in the week with the players.
So a situations tape, is that what already has been on tape, or do you put scenarios out there?
It's situations that come around the league.
Okay, I
see. We'll do that later in the week. It's a team meeting where I will sit down and talk to the guys about certain situations and rules, and part of that is the penalties.
Do you go through the actual process of whomever the referee is and their history of what they look for? Because some guys do. That's been a new thing lately. Oh, this referee calls so many more penalties on the road versus home, or a particular kind of penalty. Is that part of the process?
Yeah, we look at everything. Yeah, we always look at that. It's certainly not something that we focus on, but we certainly look at it.
Again, in the idea of more information,
yes,
right?
Taking all the information.
More information. All right, I want to talk more about special teams because on kickoff return, I believe I counted 8 rookies at one point in the game. Maybe I'm off by 1, but they don't normally get that kind of attention to say, okay, who's on kickoff coverage or who's on punt coverage. The game's moving too fast, and they're doing a good job.
Yeah, obviously, HT, Coach Hightower's done a great job, with those units, with those cover units and really developing those young players. Carlos, our assistant, also has done a great job.
Carlos Polk?
Yes, Carlos.
Local guy out of Rockford?
Yeah, exactly. But those guys have been working diligently with these rookies. And again, we do have 7 or 8 guys on each unit. It's not just those other units. It's pretty much every unit, including our punter. So those guys have been doing a really good job of fundamentals, technique of how to cover, how to block, at the point of attack.
And you get something done on special teams in a game, a turnover or score, man, that gives you a heck of a lot better chance to win. The records prove it over time. And they've knocked the ball out.
Yeah, we've caused a couple fumbles. Blackwell's caused a couple. Jalen Jones has caused one, I believe. Sanborn's done a nice job. There's been a lot of guys in there that have really worked their tail off, on special teams.
All right, let's talk about the punter. He's top 10 in gross and net punting, so you couldn't be happier with the performance of Trenton Gill, right?
No, you get a guy, late in the draft like that. It's pretty special to to get him and really see his development. He's been good since the jump, and he's really taken on the responsibility of, the punt and pin and really working on that skill. And he's developed that skill over time since we've gotten him. So we're really pleased where he is.
And you don't really ever know unless, I guess the scouting process of it, but being a holder at this level, they got to be sure, you got to be good.
No, right? He's got a great set of hands on him. He can throw. He's a great athlete, which opens up a lot of things for you in the fake game. So he's done a lot of good things for us. He's a talent.
How about Cairo Santos? Consistent.
Very consistent. He's been great. He's since before he even got here, he was very consistent. He's continuing that on. He goes to work every single day, and he is diligent in his practice, and he's laser focused.
And of course, we touched on the return game, so that speaks for itself. Needs to get better, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. When you muff 2 punts, obviously that's not what we're looking for. And like I said after the game, that the number one job of a kick returner and a punt returner is to secure the football and keep it secure. They have to do that.
Calling all Bears fans, get the ultimate VIP fan package with Chicago Bears VIP. Secure a game ticket and appearance from Bears legends and more by visiting ChicagoBearsVIP.com. Welcome into the Bears Coaches Show with Bears head coach Matt Eberflus. Good to see Jalen Johnson back on the field. How much of a difference does that make?
It was great to have him out there. We thought he might come back the week before. He wasn't quite ready, but certainly glad to have him back. He covers very well. He's doing a good job with the crack replace and the tackling, but certainly really nice to have him back.
And it kind of slots the rest of the secondary when he gets back in there, right?
Yeah, it takes a little bit off of Kyler, takes a little bit off of Kendall, so those guys have done a good job back there in the secondary, and certainly we're going to have our hands full this week coming up, but those guys have done a good job so far.
All right, let's get into the defense. The good news about it is, again, only allowed 2 touchdowns in the second half. There's the adjustment thing that has gotten a lot of attention, but, just being stingy when you have to be in the second half.
Yeah, so, that's been going well. And the big thing we stressed last week was start fast. We got to do a better job of starting fast, in those first part of the game. And I think we did a pretty decent job of that last week. We just got to continue. It's not going to be perfect, but we want to continue to, start fast and finish strong, as all the coaches say. But there's something to that. It's about execution. It's about executing on third down to get out the field. It's about executing on first and second down to create those third down situations that you want. We did a good job, a solid job of that last week. We have to continue to do that.
Yeah. When the thing was up over 50%, that's not good. But 2 of 11 on third down last week, stopping Carson Wentz.
Yep, it was good by the entire defensive staff.
All right, so the scheme changed from 3-4 to 4-3. Some of the guys that are adapting to this change, like Roquan and Quinn, Eddie Jackson, Travis Gibson, Jalen, how do you think it's gone in terms of what those individuals have?
It's a process. It's a process you have to go through. It's a different style, and the guys are learning it, and we're getting better. I can see the improvements in practice. I can see the improvements coming forward. Last game was better, than the game before. So it's we have to keep working on it.
In terms of that, is it more about eyes, of where to be with your eyes in those for all those guys?
That's defensive ball. It's
general, okay.
You always say alignment, assignment. Then key. Where are my eyes and why? And then you got to use great technique. If it's run technique or pass technique, and then you got to execute at the end.
You mentioned this in your news conference after the game last week. Kyler Gordon definitely making steps, and boy, he's just gathering information with every snap. If you can explain just how that process has gone for him.
Yeah, so when you're a rookie and we ask him to do, 2 spots, he played inside nickel and then he plays outside corner, in base defense. So, there's some different techniques in there. And, we always thought that he could handle it, and he has handled it. And he's done a good job. And there's a lot of techniques inside when you play the nickel position that are different than the outside corner. And the biggest thing with him was that really just the awareness and the speed of the game to be able to get yourself under control but still be very aggressive to make the tackles. And that's where he has improved. If you watched the game last week, he was taking up space, taking up ground, getting himself under control, and then being able to shoot for the tackle and wrap through the legs, and do a great job of bringing his feet. And that's what I thought his footwork, and his patterns of where he was and how he was going about his business is much better.
Yeah, good sequence there. I think it was Antonio Gibson bringing him down to the ground on a pass breakup, and then they took down the big tight end, the rookie Cole Turner, with that kind of tackle that you talk about for a really small gain. So,
no, that's great.
Those sequence plays, if you start stacking those, you're going to start feeling pretty good. I think.
No doubt.
Yeah, and then for Gordon also, so he did get a PI flag, right? So. Do you get nervous when rookies even get one? Because I know he said he asked the official, and he said, hey, you got to turn your head around. I thought he turned his head, looked for the ball. I don't know how you feel about it, but I don't know about that flag. But do you worry that when they get one, do they back off a little bit, or you just got to stay? What do you teach them on?
No, just work with them in their technique. That's all. It's just one play is one play. You got to move on to the next one. It's a cycle of the snap. Move that play aside, learn from it, and go to the next one. And that's how you get better.
Run defense. Do you feel steps are headed in the right direction to get better there?
I do. Yeah, I do feel it. The guys are working hard on it right now. We're looking at all the cut-ups right now. They're actually, working on it, and it has to improve. But it comes down to, like I said before, making sure we're in the right alignment. That puts you in an advantageous position to succeed. And then make sure we're playing with great technique, and it's got to be done with speed. And when you do those things, the evidence is on tape. You can show the players it's right there. And when you don't, then there's going to be a breakdown. So we got to make sure we're more consistent.
Welcome back to the Bears Coaches Show, our final segment with Bears head coach Matt Eberflus. And thanks for listening, everybody. Getting ready for the New England Patriots. We'll touch on them in just a moment. But again, just rehashing, no practice until Thursday, so you get the extra day. They'll be working Saturday and head out. But do you feel in the end that this has been a productive weekend and it will be a productive week for you?
Yes, we do. Yep. It was great to have the mini bye. It was great to look at our cut-ups and see where we are and evaluate the players and evaluate what we're doing and how we're doing it and going forward to improve. So it was definitely it hit right in the right spot.
I want to touch on the tight end position because Cole Kmet you mentioned maybe the backs getting more involved in the passing game. How about Cole, the touches there? I know he's being asked to do multiple things as an inline blocker as well, but do you see that as a opportunity yet here to grow?
Yeah, certainly we want to get all the skill involved. That's an important piece of that, and Cole is a big part of that. He's obviously, our number one tight end, and we need to get him more touches like we do the running backs and the receivers, and, we're going to look at ways to do that for sure.
All right, you brought a bunch of guys in this year. Some blasting game on the offensive side. Armand Watts, who's become one of your starters up front. Muhammad. Has that been a nice transition here for these guys, some of whom knew your system and fit right in to help educate the other guys? This is on both sides of the ball. I'm just touching on a few names, but the blend of old and new, how do you think it's gone?
No, it's gone well. It's gone well. Obviously, we've lost a couple games here, really close games, but those guys have done a good job of sending the message of how we want to do things. In terms of how we play and how we do things. So it's been great to have those guys, and they're developing too. We develop all of our players, and they're getting better, and we're looking to improve those guys as well.
And from a leadership point of view, which I know was one of the first things you brought up, you got to have good leadership. And I think you've got guys that you feel you trust in that regard. How has that turned out for you so far?
It's been good. We got the leadership council. Those guys are all leading. From the front, and certainly we have our captains. That are leaderships. But I've always said this: that everybody's a leader, and the first rule of leadership is leading yourself. And doing things the right way, and what your effort looks like, what your execution looks like, and the guys have bought into that.
All right, time to take a look at the New England Patriots. A look ahead brought to you by BetRivers, the official sportsbook partner of the Bears. Patriots beat the Browns in Cleveland yesterday, 38-15. They got a rookie quarterback, Bailey Zappi, back up, who threw for 300 and 2 touchdowns. And it's amazing. Tom and I laughed about it last night. It's amazing how the NFL works. So Bill Belichick ties George Halas for second on the all-time wins list last night. And now it's the Bears and New England coming up on Monday night, and he has a chance to pass Papa Bear. It couldn't have been scheduled more perfectly, I guess. But how crazy is that? That's the opportunity. Now they're both behind Don Shula, of course, but you got to give credit where credit is due. I mean, it's been a long career for Coach Belichick. That's quite the thing to catch Papa Bear. That's for sure.
No, I mean you're talking about 2 Hall of Fame coaches. George Halas is one of the greatest of all time, and Bill Belichick obviously has proven that as well. So when you get to that many victories, obviously 2 legends of the game. And, you can't say enough about those guys. And they've certainly done the game of football the right way. They've given back to the game. And that's what we want to do as coaches. And that's what we're all trying to do, inspire to do, is making sure that we leave the game. When we leave the game, it's better off than when we came. So
I love the way you just put that. What moved you to the point to think that way about football?
Yeah, I would just say that just my experience, what we do for the game of football, and how we can make it a better game, by playing it the right way, by making sure that it's done with, great fundamentals, playing hard, playing physical, and giving back to the men that you serve as the players, So you touch so many guys during the course of your time as a coach, and you want to make sure that you have an impact on those guys, for whatever it is, discipline, leadership, how you can help them with, outside of football. And I think that's an important part that you give back to the game of football.
Okay, so what are we looking at with these Patriots? Obviously, the quarterback position, Bailey Zappi right now in for the injured Mac Jones and Brian Hoyer, but 2-0 in his starts and led a shutout win over Detroit, and then yesterday looked pretty good.
Yeah, they're doing a nice job of executing on offense for sure. He has a host of talent around him. With the tight ends, the receiving core, they are a good bunch, and he's operating the offense well right now. So on the defensive side, they got some impactful players up front. Certainly Judon and Wise are impactful players. Guys in the secondary, Duggar, and then also Devin McCourty. They've done a good job of setting those guys up for success.
Patriots getting out of Judon 18.5 sacks in his 23 games and 18 tackles for loss. He had a sack in his first 5 with the Patriots, which has never happened before. It's hard to believe all the great players have had, but I don't think he had a sack yesterday. But you're going to face a lot of really good defensive fronts here in the next many weeks. I know you don't look that far down the road, but is that going to be a critical component here, how to deal with these fronts? Because you just saw a really good one in Washington.
Yeah, I mean, it's the NFL, right? So there's always going to be really good players on the other side, whatever offense, defense, or kicking. So we got to make sure that we understand the strengths of an opponent, we understand the weaknesses of an opponent, and make sure we minimize the strength and maximize the weakness and get after each opponent as we do. So that's going to be an important part to it.
One of the headlines, I guarantee it'll be something you'll be asked about when you go to the press conference tomorrow here at Hallis Hall, but the idea or the aura of Bill Belichick, how he makes life difficult on young quarterbacks. And there's a lot of math to prove it, and there's a lot of wins to prove it too. How do you look at that as an opposing head coach, and is there teeth in that?
Well, obviously the track record speaks for itself, and we're going to have to go up there and have a good plan. We're going to have to have a plan and a contingency plan. So we got to make sure that we have an initial plan. And once we see what they're doing and trying to do, we got to make sure we adjust on the fly and make sure it's sound and make sure it's something that we can execute.
And so it is a big test, though, for definitely for Justin Fields here.
Yeah, I think every one of these are a big test. Every defense that comes down the road is going to give you a set of different difficulties, and be it personnel, be it scheme, whatever that might be. And in our scheme, offensive scheme, we have the tools to adjust, to adapt, and to overcome those difficulties. We just got to make sure that we're executing and we have a solid plan.
All right, Coach. We'll have a great week. I know there's a lot of work ahead. Appreciate your time.
All right, thank you.
As Bears head coach Matt Eberflus, that's going to wrap us up. For Keith Johnson, Andy Gersher, Dan Barilli, Jordan Tredup, I'm Jeff Joniak. And for Coach Matt Eberflus, we wish you a great evening. Week 7 kicks off in Foxborough. Bears Patriots pregame at 4:20, kickoff at 7:20 Monday night against New England. That'll do it for us. Thanks for listening, everybody. This is News Radio 105.9 WBBM. Good night, everybody.
WBBM Chicago.